You are interested in the unknown, the mysterious, the unexplainable. That is why you are here.
Welcome back to the Code Rad Show. Jim is joining me again for another installment of the Atomic Archive because we haven't visited any tiki bars lately.
Unfortunately, no, none, zero.
But maybe we can come up with some other ideas for other topics we can discuss on shows. I've been thinking of some ideas, but for now we're sticking with comic books, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, something that we both know pretty well. So yeah, and also you yourself have a comic out right now.
That's true. I don't have one within grabbing distance, but yeah, I will put the link. Thank you for mentioning it on below the show, so you can go and buy an issue of a copy of Interplanet on the internet. All right. Well, I go ahead and play the introduction, and we will introduce our comic books we are talking about today.
Okay.
All right. I decided to just reach into a box. Let me see. There we are. Box of comic books and pull one out, and that would be the discussion topic for tonight. So, and I honestly did take this one first. It was issue 1. It's written by Grant Morrison. It's an interesting title to discuss. So I figured, yeah, why don't we go with this? Steed and Mrs. Peel. For some reason, they did not go with the same name as the show. I can't imagine why they changed it. But of course, English spy series that I'm not an expert on. I've only seen a handful of episodes. How about you, Jim?
Avengers. I've seen a few episodes, but not much. I've seen a few episodes of Danger Man with Patrick McGowan, but yeah, not much. Not much. I mean, I know they've aired in the States and have a pretty big following, but yeah, not much. But I like the show has a very cool look to it. I love nice stuff. So yeah, and I love even the lettering on the covers got a very mod Peter Max-ish kind of style there, which I really like.
Yeah, the characters are iconic, very instantly recognizable. The show is fun from what I've seen of it, but I never saw the 90s movie. Someday I would love it if that turned up on Netflix or something. Ray Fine and Uma Thurman. It was a big flop. Critics hated it, but I'd like to give it a watch sometime. But so this, you can see right on the cover, 2012. Grant Morrison wrote it. I think it would be, I love the idea of really great comic book writers taking, writing for great characters. Like Grant Morrison gets to tell his version of the Avengers in this comic book. Not too long ago, I bought an issue of James Bond written by Garth Ennis.
Oh, nice.
Another British comic book writer. And it was really interesting. I really enjoyed it. But I messed up. I bought issue 2 because there were like several James Bond series coming out. And I had read issue 1. And this was issue 2 of a completely different series.
Okay.
Right. So it was confusing because, there's several series, I guess not running concurrently, but the old issues are still on the shelf mixed in. And so I had read issue 1. I don't know who the team was on that first one, but I picked up issue 2, which was by Garth Ennis, and it was really good. It was a fun James Bond's adventure, but I didn't know exactly what was going on because I had not read issue 1 of this series, and I should go back and find out about that. But yeah, as I think Alan Moore may have written issues of Doctor Who. Maybe some other famous comic book writers. I love that. I would love to see Alan Moore's take on Doctor Who and all these other great characters and series. I meant to take a picture of the back inside cover of the issue. Here they have they show all the comic books coming out from Boom that month. A lot of tie-ins. I mean, you have Steed and Peel, of course. You got an Elric comic book. Got at least 2 Planet of the Apes. Got Hellraiser. Nice. So get to see your favorite movies given the comic book treatment by Boom Studios. I'll keep moving. Here's the cover. It looked like from a little bit of investigation on the internet. There were other covers that, variants, ones that featured Mrs. Peel more and made Steed smaller.
Oh, nice. Nice.
And I also saw, I mean, this seems unrelated, but Batman teaming up with another 60s spy show, an American one, but also Batman 66 did also have a crossover with Steed and Peel. DC Boom collaboration. And I think what little I know of Avengers, the show seemed to have kind of like the same atmosphere and tone of Batman.
Yeah,
as you can get, one being British. I mean, Batman, of course, is very American. Yes. Avengers is very British.
Right.
But I think in some ways they're pretty similar, kind of outlandish crime fighters. And I think it's a cool idea to have them team up in a comic book. So as our adventure begins, and here it's not even beginning, we just see it's written by Grant Morrison. Don't know Ian Gibson, never heard of him before this. I'm willing to bet he is English. Here you have a big splash page. You have these cool dice. They figure into the story a little bit. You have a crown, an anchor, playing card suits. Don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know if these are real dice for a real English game, but comic
cool,
book is very, they're neat looking. And
I like
the
those.
comic book is Grant Morrison inserts a lot of very British stuff in here. Here is this woman wearing green. She is not Mrs. Peel, but I think she is some sort of spy, and she's meeting this admiral, and they're talking about there's a mole, I guess, in the Navy. Someone is leaking military secrets from the Navy, and this admiral is here to discuss the problem with this woman. But dun dun dun, the next page we see the real admiral is over here, I guess, with a pair of cement shoes on, dead in the must be the Thames, right? And so the guy who was talking, the admiral must be someone in disguise. So, and it most likely is the mole they're looking for. And so then we're all halfway through the book. You can see the staples there. You get this double page spread saying the name of the storyline, I guess. And there's Steed with his shooting an umbrella at a target, and I guess that's Ms. Peel reading tarot cards.
Indeed.
And so all right, so here is an English thing I learned about. It sounds like they find out the Secret Service, whoever it is that they work for, find out that the admiral is really dead pretty quick. And they find out that when he was still alive, he wrote a letter to an agony aunt. And if you can read that there, an agony aunt. Have you ever heard of that before?
I have not. No, is it like a Dear Abby or like a...
Exactly, yeah. It's an advice column. It's their version of Dear Abby, but that's a weird way to refer to it, an agony aunt.
I've never heard agony. Okay, yeah, I've never heard that. Agony. I took just a
Yeah.
wild guess, but agony aunt. Okay, all right, okay.
So I mean, it is kind of a cool plot device because, sometimes spies have been known to put things in the newspapers. Now in the modern era, there were some people who were thinking that Ghislaine Maxwell was leaving book reviews on Amazon, and that were some kind of secret code. So interesting stuff. So why was this admiral writing letters to an agony aunt? Well, this is the modern era of comic books, so everything is very decompressed. We never find out.
Oh,
Not in this issue.
okay.
And I don't think I bought issue 2. So Mrs. Peel goes to the magazine that the agony aunt worked for, and of course the publisher says, "Are you a model?" And she's, "Nope." She just wants to talk to the agony aunt, find out what the deal is with the admiral writing her a letter. They're like, "Okay, well, we'll go take you to her, but we happen to be doing a blood drive today, and she always donates blood." And I don't know if you could tell, this one nurse on the left here, she looks kind of hypnotized, and instead of taking her blood, she shoots her up with something, and she's dead. And in this era of decompressed storytelling, that's all we get until next issue. So that's how issue 1 ends. Pretty quick. I mean, it's always fun reading something by Grant Morrison, but the art is what it is. I mean, I guess maybe you could say it looks quaint, kind of looks maybe 1960s-ish.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
There's a shot I wish I had included. I forgot to put it on there, where Steed goes and sits on a toilet and pulls the flush chain. I guess it's supposed to be the 1960s in England. So you flush by pulling a chain, and it makes it turns the toilet into an elevator, and it goes down into a secret hideout. But I mean, from the art, you could not really tell that's what was going on. It was kind of you just kind of had to know. It was like you see enough spy stuff, oh, he's going down and he exits out through a into a secret hideout, kind of like the Batcave. So I guess I will hand it over to you now.
Sure. Let's see. So the comic.
All right, nice cover.
Yes, no, thank you very much. Let's see. So, okay. So I'm reviewing Wonder Woman 179. Came out in 1968. Written by Denny O'Neil and drawn by Mike Skakowski, I believe is his name. Mm-hmm. And I believe what happened here is that sales for Wonder Woman were sagging.
Right.
So they approached Denny O'Neil to see if if he could regenerate interest in the comic. But before we get into the book, though, let's kind of go a little further back. So Wonder Woman was created by this guy right here, William Moulton Marston. He was a psychologist and also a writer, and he's the one who created Wonder Woman. Interesting guy. He actually was the inventor of the polygraph, or otherwise known as the lie detector.
I know, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy. He created a early prototype of the lie detector. Let's see. So in 1940, he was interviewed by a magazine called Family Circle, and his interview was titled "Don't Laugh at Comics." And in the article, it said that he said that comics, quote, have great educational potential. So that caught the eye of this guy. This is Max Gaines. He was the publisher of I think National Periodical Publications, which would later become DC Comics. Okay. And he hired Marston to become educational consultant for both National Periodical Publications and also All American Publications. It should be noted that those two companies would eventually merge and become DC. So let's see here. This is his wife that suggested that Marston should create a new superhero because Batman was very popular.
Okay.
Superman had become very popular, and Green Lantern, Alan Scott had become popular. So she suggested, why don't you create a superhero, but make it a female?
Yeah.
So they both decided that this would be a new kind of superhero, but rather than getting through the problems with fists or weapons, she would use love. And so her original name was going to be Suprema, the Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, they decided, let's just Wonder Woman, that sounds better. Let's just leave it at that. And apparently that was a phrase used very commonly in the 1940s as somebody that was a woman that was very gifted, physically or intellectually or both.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So the world got Wonder Woman. She first appeared in All-Star Comics #8.
Nice.
She does not appear on the cover here. She would appear again for the second time in Sensation Comics #1. And this is in 1942. And then finally, a few months later, she got her own title.
Oh, wow.
And so pretty cool looking cover there. Now, it should be noted that William Marston, for the 1940s, had a very not so conservative lifestyle. He actually had a wife and 2 partners, and they all lived together.
Okay.
And I guess some people do that now, but back then I'm sure it was just very unusual to do that because the 40s are so conservative.
Yeah.
So Mr. Marston also had a lot of fetishes, and 2 of them were #1, bondage. Yes, he was really into bondage.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
Yes, he was really into. He thought that a man being submissive to a woman, or I guess in this case vice versa, wasn't. Well, I'm not really sure. He just definitely had a thing for bondage.
Yeah.
I think he was saying in an interview that men should not be afraid to be submissive towards women. I think is what he was saying. Even though here, I think it's just this image is the reverse.
Yeah.
But another thing he was into was spanking. Naughty. You have a shot of Etta Candy spanking Wonder Woman, and she's got a wink there.
Wow.
So he was a very interesting cat. He was a very interesting guy. He had 4 kids, 2 kids with the one wife, and 2 kids with one of his partners.
Yeah.
So they all lived under one roof. So I guess we'll fast forward to the future, to 1960s. Here is Denny O'Neil.
Right.
You've probably read stuff by him before. He was his main things were the street level heroes like Batman and Green Arrow.
Yeah.
But he did write Wonder Woman for a while, and he decided to maybe make Wonder Woman a little more relatable. And as we mentioned in the Krypton Evermore episode, why don't I just depower her? So he did. And he kind of turned, yes. I was going to say the bondage didn't quite stop in the 1940s. It continued to the 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
And they kind of gave it more like a spy James Bond. And for those watching at home, we didn't plan this, but we did not plan this at all. But he looked to Emma Peel as kind of inspiration.
All right.
For this new Wonder Woman, new Diana Prince.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I think it's sold fairly well for a little while. But let's see. Let's take a look at the story. Okay, so basically we have here Steve Trevor is asked to take on a special mission, but to be effective, he has to label himself as a traitor. He has to make the American public believe that he's a traitor. So he says, when do I start? And he's like, right now. It's like, okay, no problem. So I might as well act the part. So I'm going to hit you now. I'm going to hit you again. The military police see what's going on. And he goes, Season, this man is a spy. So Steve, though, is very good with fisticuffs. So he fights them, all 3 guys off. He tries to escape. But luckily, hey, look, a window. And I thought this was kind of cool that how the light from the window is getting in these guys shooters in their eyes, so they can't really get a good beat on them. So he just dives to the window,
Oh,
crash.
nice.
Look
Wow.
at that.
Yeah, that's an awesome picture.
Oh yeah, no, he did. Mike Skowski did a great job with the pencils, but
Yeah,
I
not
figured
familiar with that name at all.
he would get cut. You would think, but
Yeah.
so he escapes. I guess just finds
Oh,
a random
cool
car that happened to be
convertible.
there. The general thinks to himself, let's see, unless we can break, we can. What Dr. Cyber is up to? Dr. Cyber, that was a brand new character that O'Neill created, and we'll see more of that name a little later on.
Dr. Cyber?
Dr. Cyber, yes.
Oh, cool.
So again, a very Bond. That could have been a Bond villain, right there.
For sure, yeah.
Let's see. Let's go ahead a little more. So Diana Prince is walking through New York, and she finds the news through the radio. When folks didn't get their news online,
Yeah.
they get radio or newspaper or TV. And she discovers that Colonel Trevor has been labeled a traitor. But she knows Steve pretty well, and she doesn't believe it. However, she gets a telepathic message from her mother from Themyscira, or Paradise Island. So she goes there, and here's Wonder Woman's mother, the blonde. I have a hard time pronouncing her name. Is it Hippolyta or something like that?
I never really thought about it. I've read it many times, but yeah, it doesn't come up in conversation a lot. So
No, it doesn't.
you
But
don't
I
have to
think
say it.
yeah, I guess I'll just her Wonder Woman's mother.
Yeah.
She informs her that their magic is pretty much spent. They have to go to another dimension, leave this world, and go to another dimension and rest. And she asks her, "Will you come?" Diane hesitates, and she wants to stay. Now, if she stays, she'll have to forfeit all of her powers and her lasso, just everything. So she'll be depowered, but she really wants to help Steve because she loves him. So let's see. Here we are. We see her relinquishing her outfit, her lasso. Has a very tearful goodbye to her mother, and she flies off the invisible jet. I never saw the invisible jet. I thought that was kind of strange. I don't know. Just thought it was kind of odd. I kind of liked it better now in the '80s. Just like George Perez was like, "I'll just make her fly," and I think that works.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it was a little weird seeing Wonder Woman flying because I think my introduction to the character was a TV show.
Yes.
So as odd as the invisible jet was, we were used to seeing Wonder Woman not fly. So
yeah,
it was a little odd, but it does make sense that she should fly.
Well, I guess technically she kind of. I think the way they did was she glides on air curtains, but that's still flying. But yeah,
yeah.
But I remember the invisible jet from the show and Super Friends, who was shown on that. So
right, yeah.
So now I was kind of confused here because I thought she still works for the government, but I guess not. Apparently, she's now also powerless, but also jobless. So she finds this place in the east side of Manhattan. She figures she can rent an apartment and have some kind of business. When she sees a guy being bothered by hoodlums. This Chinese man here, who appears to be blind and disabled, but he actually can hold his own pretty well. He takes all the guys down by himself.
Mm-hmm.
He introduces himself. His name is I Ching. And even though he's blind, he can still see. Let's see. I've lost time to explain. Eyes are only one port of the soul. The mind is what truly sees. It's pretty deep stuff.
Sure,
1968, so it turns out this guy is also looking for Dr. Cyber. This gentleman belongs to a religious sect where he's the last member of the sect, they were murdered by Dr. Cyber's henchmen, and he's looking for Dr. Cyber also. So he goes to Diana for help. Since she has no more powers, she kind of has to start over again. So he trains her in the ways of karate. Has her rubbing her hands in rice grains, making her hands tougher.
Oh, wow.
Has her breaking boards, breaking bricks. So yeah, I was like, I first got this issue in the 1989 in the antique shop in Ocean City, and I was like, this is kind of cool. I like this.
Yeah, it's different from what you're used to.
It is, yeah, it's a lot different. Yeah. So let's see. So Steve Trevor comes in, I guess, her apartment / dojo. He's pretty wounded. Luckily, they're able to get Steve help. They take him to an ambulance, but Diana's very upset. Let's see. I don't think they showed her crying that much until this issue, but we're seeing a more vulnerable side to Wonder Woman. And so this is the hand of Dr. Cyber. We don't know who Dr. Cyber is yet, unless do you want to tell you, or do you want to just wait till another episode?
Oh, it's up to you.
It's actually she's a lady. It's a woman.
Okay.
She has a mask, but takes the mask off and turns out she's a lady. But that's not for another like 6 issues or so. Let's see. This is kind of cool. They go to where they think Dr. Cyber is holed up, but they get attacked by toys. They get attacked by action figures that have these swords that are poison tipped. And also, it's Frankenstein.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So please disable same. So it's still kind of they haven't speaking broken English a little bit there, but
yeah.
Let's see. But that's kind of cool. She takes the head off of the Frankenstein toy.
Yeah, with a karate chop.
Yeah. So let's see. So now they got attacked by model airplanes.
Awesome.
So yes, Fokker triplanes, which I guess that was it World War II, I think.
Yeah, it sounds like well, biplanes would have been World War I. I think. Okay. That would have been German planes.
Yeah, with the Maltese cross, I guess, on them. Yeah.
And so here you have, earliest drones attacking Wonder Woman.
Yeah, right. 1968 drones. Yeah.
Yeah.
They predicted the future. Let's see. I never guessed I began my post-Amazon career playing King Kong.
Yeah.
There's a Snoopy reference right here. My favorite comic strip character would say, "Take that, Red Baron," because Snoopy was pretty big in the 1960s.
Oh, yeah.
This guy is going to shoot them, one of Dr. Cyber's heavies, but he forgot about the plane. Oh, right. So their own drones got this guy. So now I am Ace.
He was hoisted upon his own petard?
Yes. Yes, he was.
Killed by his own weapons? Oh.
Yes, he was. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
So, poetic justice.
Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat.
Yeah.
He has that ugly green suit. So Steve, she checks on Steve, Trevor at the hospital. We all know who's going to be okay, but they're building suspense.
Of course, yeah.
But it could be brain injury, we don't know, but he's going to be out of action for a while.
Well, this is the new realistic Wonder Woman, so who knows?
Yeah, but that's true. Yeah, people didn't know back then. So yeah, gives him a kiss goodbye. And that's pretty much it. See somebody wearing a very mod 60s clothing back there, the woman in red.
Yeah.
So good looking dame and a blind Chinese. Those are the people I'm after, all right. So it's they became not so much of single contained stories, just like they became serialized. What Marvel was doing at the time. So
okay.
So that's pretty much it. I think just while we're at it, I think someday, do you know this comic, Brother Power the Geek?
No, never saw it before in my life.
Okay. It was a 2-issue miniseries about this this dummy, clothing store dummy, lived with this hippie, and he became alive. But it only lasted 2 issues. So it's never
sounds
been.
like it could be a TV show.
Yeah, it should have been. Yeah, it should have been. I don't think it took off as much as I thought it would. But I think maybe someday, maybe that might be covering on a future episode one day.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to learn about it.
Brother Power the Geek. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
2 issues only. But still, he still pops up from time to time.
Any? Do you know off the top of your head anything about the creative team who wrote it, who drew it?
I don't. I thought maybe Steve Ditko did, but I don't think so. I think he was over working on Hawk and Dove, and also working on. Hang on, I'll get it. The Creeper. He was doing those.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, I see this. Steve Ditko does not jump into my head as being his kind of material.
I don't think he liked hippies.
No, that's
or
for
hippie
sure.
culture, or just I don't think. Probably like get a haircut, hippie, one of those guys.
Yeah.
But still, he didn't. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Finish.
Not much else. There's one more
I
slide.
think.
So this continued until it got the attention of Gloria Steinem, who herself was a fan of Wonder Woman even when she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not feel. She thought it was kind of degrading that she had her powers taken away. So by issue 204, which I should have had included here, but I don't think I do. No, okay. Her powers were eventually restored.
At the behest of Gloria Steinem.
Well, she was pretty powerful back then. She was, I'm not sure, she's editor-in-chief of Ms.
Sure, yeah.
Ms. Magazine,
I believe so, yeah.
But yeah, I think what she said, she had a lot of stroke, I think, back then. I think what she was saying is like, well, if you're going to present a character that's female, that represents female empowerment, and you take her powers away, it doesn't really kind of just, it kind of just takes away from the whole. I think that was her. That's what she was thinking, I think. But I guess sooner or later, comic characters may go through a change, but sooner or later they usually, and this rings true today, they usually go back to status quo at some point.
Of course, yeah. I've been putting on the Doctor Who channel on Pluto.
Oh, cool.
On occasion, and they've been showing John Pertwee episodes, who of course who got his superpower taken away. He was stranded on Earth. His TARDIS, the Time Lords stole the spark plugs out of it or something. Took the battery out, so he couldn't. So basically, Doctor Who had his powers taken away. I don't know who could have possibly thought that was a good idea. But yeah, do
you know why they did that? Do you know why?
I assume it was budget.
Exactly.
I'm not just assuming. I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere. But yeah, that's awful. Although I do admit, watching these old episodes, even though they are kind of they look very TV, very cheap in TV. Brigadier was pretty awesome. Brigadier was a tough guy. He looked like a real leader.
He was, yeah, he was awesome. I love the Brigadier, sure.
Yeah, Nicholas Courtney.
Yeah, I think it was budget cuts, and I think in 1969 they weren't sure if they were going to continue the series or not.
Sure, yeah.
So 1970, it was going to color, which I think cost, I'm sure, money.
Yeah.
But I think, I'm pretty sure it was just budget reasons why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of came. It was kind of cool. I know, kind of sucks. He had the one of the circuits taken out of the TARDIS console, but I kind of like he was kind of like a mix between James Bond and Sherlock Holmes. I thought it was kind of cool. But
yeah,
he became popular. But then his successor took over, and Sears was even more popular than ever.
Yeah. I like Bessie better than the Who-mobile.
Bessie was great. Yeah, well, the Who-mobile looks kind of it's very 70s. Yeah, very 70s. But I think the classic car I think is I do too. Yeah, Bessie I think is I prefer
Bessie is classic. Yeah, I had the poster on my bedroom wall as a kid. Tom Baker standing in the car.
Oh, nice.
Very nice picture. Yeah, great classic car. All right, Jim.
Nice.
Well, we are just kind of rambling now, so I'm going to go ahead and end this.
Sure.
Let's see. Thank you, everyone out there in YouTube lands. Hopefully, we'll be back real soon with more comic book talk.
Yes, indeed.
Bye, everyone. Bye, Jim.
Thank you, everybody. Bye, everybody. Bye. Arrivederci.